amazingly enough. And as you can see, it was down to very low. So that means I had nothing left basically. I got her just a few summons ago on single summons and just had a couple extras to pop. Let's pop another one just real quick. Where'd I go? Just for the hell of it. See if I can get lucky with a dupe. Yeah, right. But anyway, uh, so that's not the point of the video. I wanted to test my guild boss. It's a very new account. As you can see, I'm level 53. I'm less than 60 days in, I believe. If you look at like the daily logins, yeah, 52 days. Just started playing this game a while ago and become very obsessed with it. And in our guild, um, we only have a few friends in here as well. We're on Nightmare 2 and 3. I typically do the Nightmare 3 once a day. I have hit over 10K just barely. I like 10.4, 10.5 is my personal best. Actually, you can probably see it just to show you I'm not a liar. Here you go. Oh, just over 10,000. I know I've done some play tests where it was like 10.3 or 10.4, but not much higher than that. So typically my team is composed of Salazar here was my fifth. So I have really good nightmare units. I got very lucky early on getting um, you know, the Lust banner had just started, so I was able to get Lust and Arrogance during that. And then obviously these two are free with Wrath and Volca. I also pulled Salazar during I think that was right when I started. It was the Lizard guy. So I got Trusk and Salazar. But yeah, I've had pretty bad luck the last few banners. I pulled like 400 or 500 times on that Zaris one because I really need AoE mages. You can see it's very lackluster in that department. And I got nothing. Absolutely two pities during that were just not anything I was looking for. And so I've got very good fighters and I can do guild boss well. But besides that, my account is not the best in the world. So um, typically can get around 45 to 50% total here, just over 10K Dragon Blood as well. And I wanted to test Twyla. Since I got her, I haven't done any tests with her yet. I basically swapped some gear around. I'm going to test with the best gear with her and the best gear with Lust. So right now I have Lust in the very best gear and then Hex, and Twyla is kind of in my third best set. I'm going to test with Twyla first with this set, and then I'm going to swap Lust and Twyla and see how the results compare. And yeah, go from there. So that's kind of the setup. I don't have optimal gear. Like I said, the rest of my stuff is struggling. I'm on the gear raid 17 or 18 on all three of them. So I'm farming what I can, trying to complete these events as well. But that's what we're working with. So let's try a play test here. And I don't know about the timings on the ults. I'm not trying to figure that as we go, but let's just kind of see how it works raw here to first. So put him there, put Lust here so she can whip all our friends and get more ults. I put Twyla here, and I put Volk here, and that, and there. And then I pop at 425, I pop my Hex ult. And then I think I'm going to pop Twyla as she comes up. And then at 415, boom. And then 405 is when I do Dolores and Lust. Boom, boom. And then it shields. And then I pop Volca right as it pops. Typically, that's when I pop Salazar as well. Let's see if we can maybe get her. Nope, not quite. But I'm just going to pop her on cooldown just to see how it works to start with, because I know her ult builds. We'll go over her build and her skills as well here. All right, and then I don't really need to do that anymore. That was from a time when they would possibly die if I didn't pop Vortex's ult. But now I just wait for I pop on cooldown for Hex, and I'll do that again for her and Zalitu. 245 is when I pop Dolores and Lust, and then Volca immediately to get, because I want the Volca duration to end before all their ults do, so they get full benefit of her ult. I need to get her skilled up a little bit because it can last a little bit longer. It only lasts 10 seconds right now. So we're going to keep going there. And then it should be about 1:30 is when I pop the last round of ults. 1:45 to 1:30. And these are always up about the same time. Boom, boom, pop. I wait on Lust until the shield comes up because otherwise sometimes it doesn't. And there's that. And perfect timing on the last Twyla ult. Nice. I'm a little ahead of where I normally am right here. I'm usually about just hitting 9K. So yeah, this she definitely seems to be doing this better than Salazar was. We'll see at the end here. And I'll save her last one for this last round because at 22, because that's how long her Dolores' ult lasts, I hit it at 22, and then I start to pop everything. 22, Twyla, Lust. I wait till about 10 or 11, Volca, because that's all it lasts, so I can get the full benefit. And there we go. And let's see, 10, 9, 11K almost. It's my best yet, so she's definitely better than Salazar. On a play test, let's see, 30 million, 60. So normally I get about these three, depending range. I mean, I've swapped gear around recently, but this is about what they would normally get, and Salazar would be right around them. So definitely big increase. Okay, so now let's test it. We got 30K, 30.8, 28.5, 60. Hex fluctuates a lot also, by the way. Sometimes I get good runs with Hex, sometimes bad because of his cards and RNG. Sometimes I get 27, sometimes I get 32. So it's quite a big range on Hex. That's just kind of how he is. Yeah, so I like that. It's saved that run. Let's swap the gear now for Lust and Twyla. Lust is skilled higher, obviously. I've had her longer, so I've definitely got her skills. That I'm only missing what 1, 2, 3, 4 points in her. And Twyla, I only had one shard today, so I could only get her up here. So that's a promising start though for her. She's a beast. I'll take this time to kind of go over her skills and kit here. So it all kind of boils back down to her talent here with Deranged Blade. Each basic attack launched has a 25% chance to trigger Deranged Blade, which does 20% damage 12 times. And it inflicts bleed for 5 seconds, which is pretty huge. 20% times 12 is 240%. You're getting that every fourth hit, essentially. And so that's just a 60% damage boost on her, essentially, because if you think about 240 divided by 4, 60. So it's just insane talent. And also, it goes up each time her ultimate is cast. So after 3 ultimates, you get 40% chance on that. Also, her ult is insane. It gives 50% damage increase at base. It's 30% at base, but I've got 2 upgrades. Once it gets fully upgraded, it only costs 600, and the effect duration lasts 20 seconds when fully upgraded. So 50% base damage, attack interval reduced by 20%, which is, an attack speed buff there. And it gives 6 extra instances. So instead of 12, you get 18 times hits. So 360% damage on that every time it procs. And also does a 200% pop 2 times as soon as you hit it. I do happen to have Hex, which is amazing. His bond skill is not great. What is it? Something about a shield. Whenever he gets his invisibility, Fate the Hermit, when that procs, he gets a shield for 10 seconds and it reduces his cost by 4. So not the best bond skill, but hers is pretty ridiculous. You get 6 less costs, which is great for like arena. And then also each time he draws a card, it gets her crit damage up by 5% up to 60 total. So 12 times after he draws 12 cards, she gets 60% bonus crit damage. Kind of insane. Basic attack does up to 120 when fully maxed. One enemy, only one range, which is not great, but whatever. It kind of balances out because she's so OP otherwise. This one does not affect Guild Boss at all, really, or at all. But after not dealing damage for 2 seconds, she gets more rage regen, which is great for just having her ult up all the time between waves of things in wave content. And then this last passive is what her bread and butter is. This is what makes her actually insane. Every time you trigger ult, this goes up to 10% at max. She gets 10% defensive penetration during the next ultimate, second to 80% damage penetration. So she's ulting very quickly, as you saw there. I got like 4 or 5 off during that, and maybe even 6. And just getting 80% defensive pen is kind of nuts. So let's swap her and Lust's gear and do another test. What did I get there? 10.8, 10.9K, I think it was. But that's hard to tell on the stones because, like I said, I could get more than that with just hex fluctuations. So we were at 30 million and 16 million between the two of them. So let's run this again. By the way, I put Zelito up front there because she gets a bonus. Oops. Let me start that over. Zelito gets a bonus when she's, quote, blocking an enemy, which counts if they're right up against her, from what I understand. I'm doing this all out of order. Doesn't matter. Okay. Twyla there. And I'm putting Arrogance here, so he's in range of Lust getting whipped. So he gets ults faster because the auto ults pop on him. And the more ults he gets, the more damage Lust does. If it's an infernal unit. And I don't put Volca there because I pretty much only have Volca here um, for magic and defense pin. So 415, hit that. 405, we're going to pop that and that. And there's that. Okay. I'm not even going to worry about doing vortexes. It just gives shielding, and we don't need it at this point. And I am going to keep popping Twyla's ult. Cool thing about having Lust next to her also is, again, she might get her ult back faster if she gets whipped by Lust. So you might just see her ult percent jump up here 10% randomly at any given time. And that also can affect, what we get with RNG on these runs. I probably should have waited on that one because it was so close to when I was popping all these other ults. That's okay. We're going to try to keep it consistent between these runs. Yeah, Twyla is kind of nuts. I will test also with not popping her ult on cooldown to see if it does improve by just doing it when the shield's broken. But since her ult builds each time to where the passive gets 5% increase each time, and also the defensive penetration builds each time, then I think it is probably better to pop it on cooldown. But we'll test both. I'll min max all that later. Wait on that till the shield pops. There we go. I like to wait until it's almost ready to pop so we get max damage out of the penetration. So ults are finishing. We're gonna we were about 9,500 here before, so a little less overall. But again, that could be down to hex. We'll have to look at the numbers between. Oh shit! I should have held that between Twyla and might get another one actually. Her ult is up so fast, but I'm kind of doubting it. All right, 22. We're gonna pop. Ooh, barely got that. And 10. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get another Twyla. Right at the last second. 1 second of it. 10-8. So overall it was kind of the same. I kind of messed that up at the end. I should have waited till everything popped. Okay, so again, what was he at? 27 last time? He's at 29 now, so you kind of have to write that off. So 26 and 20. And it was what? 30 and 16 before. So overall it's about the same. 46 total ish. So it's kind of a wash between the two on which one does better with the better gear. Yeah. So kind of just goes to show you. Sometimes, you swap the gear around and one does much better than the other based on, crit or attack speed or whatever. But seems like they're pretty comparable to each other. But yeah, 26 million and her skills are not even there. Like she almost did as much as Lust, but 4 million less. And, that could be just based on me messing up that last one. I'll do it again real quick. I'll cut this or I'll cut that one out if it isn't, much different. But yeah, here's kind of the final stats of what I have for her. She has a ton of HP for base also. It's kind of nuts. Um, Great base attack. Yeah, I'll probably leave it this way. I'll swap her and Lusts. Actually, I'll just go ahead and do that now. Just gonna kind of rename. And then we'll make this kind of their base sets and roll with that. God, once she gets some more awakenings, she's gonna be absolute monster. Or not awakenings, skill ups. I just couldn't. I didn't have any more. Like I have so many dust, but no shards. So, um, yeah, and kind of equal gear. Lust has outperformed her by 3 to 4 mil right now, but that'll change once we get the skill ups in the same spot on both of them. So she's a monster, absolutely. If you haven't been able to get her, keep pulling. Good luck. I had lost hope. Like I used over 100, which the only reason I spent them all is because I was trying to get the double legendaries, just try to get anything for my account that helps with my gear raid stuff, like any good AoE mage or ranged would have been amazing. But I'm stacked on fighters. I got another fighter. Got the combo with her and Lust, or her and Hex, which is amazing. But yeah, thanks for checking it out. See ya.